A very violent past. In fact, 3 times in a 2-week period, he had a domestic violence, a violation of the conditions of the domestic violence order, and then another domestic violence and battery that all took place within a 2-week period, all with the same victim, who, by the way, the victim in all of those domestic violence incidents lives in the apartment complex we were summoned to. So deputies did a good job in not only getting there quickly, but in recognizing him, and a shout out too to the citizen that saw something going on. We tell our citizens all the time, if you see something, say something. This citizen took it to heart, called us, and I truly believe saved this domestic violence victim's life. Ruiz was there. He was in a pickup truck. He had a loaded handgun with him, and our team gave him multiple commands to comply. He refused. He also has a significant history for fleeing from law enforcement, and we tried to stop him. He actually struck several cars in the parking lot and then tried to run over our deputies. One of our deputies intentionally pointed the vehicle at him and tried to run over him. So our team engaged, trying to get him to stop. He was westbound on 520. As he was westbound, others were joining in, and at one point we actually lost him. We had lost sight of him. We couldn't get STAR up because of the weather conditions, so we were working without our aviation unit, and team got in there. Fortunately, we had a number of our different units that were out last night, and they got in the area. One of them spotted his vehicle going north, getting on the interstate going north on I-95 right at 520. Fell in behind him. We tried to stop him again. Obviously, he fled at high rates of speed. Went to 528, went west on 528, jumped the southbound 95 exchange, went south for a little bit, and then turned around and went north in the southbound lane. Obviously putting everybody on that highway at danger, not just our people, but everybody that was driving down 95. As you can imagine, this was a pretty enormous happening. Our teams are not only trying to stop him, but we're shutting down the interstate to keep everybody else from being impacted by this. He gets back to 528, goes west, just a few miles out. Our team made the absolute right decision to conduct a pit maneuver and take him out of action. They did it textbook, and the vehicle that he was driving flipped up on its side, as you can see in our video. Excuse me. And our team couldn't see him. They had lost sight of him. They attempted to approach the vehicle. It's on its side, so they were going to do entry through the sunroof. And you actually see one of our team trying to knock the glass of the sunroof out. And as they're doing that, you hear a single round being fired, and you can actually see the round go through the top of the vehicle right near the head of our agent that was there standing. Our agents do a tactical retreat. We're still trying to determine, we believe there were additional rounds that were fired from inside the vehicle. Crime scene will obviously be able to tell us all that. But at any rate, our team returned fire, and 9 of our deputies shot. And we, again, couldn't see him at that point. They were able to see him with the gun when they returned fire, but after the shots were fired, they couldn't see him. We brought in our robot, one of our mini bomb robots, and was able to get in the back of the vehicle, get an eye on him through the camera on the robot, and then it was such a fluid scene and such a dangerous situation, we didn't want to put our people up close proximity, so we brought in our Rook, which is a vehicle we have that deploys our SWAT team and other elements, brought it in, was able to get up and determine that he was dead. And I said it in our live broadcast, I'm going to say it again. I've made it very clear. If you point a gun at one of my deputies, you just guaranteed yourself a trip to the morgue. These men and women deserve the right to go home to their families. And we're not going to let a violent thug stop them from going home to their families. We're just not. So he picked this fight. We didn't pick this. We wanted to handle things peacefully. He should have never been there. There was an injunction order that mandated he stay 500 feet away from that complex, but there he was. So he picked this fight, and our team ended it, and they ended it abruptly. So, thankfully all of our deputies are safe. They're all with their families. As our protocols dictate, they're on admin leave, and our team is working with them as they're on admin leave to finish the investigation, doing the different interviews and things. So Still very fluid. We had 528 shut down for quite some time, which I'm sure you guys were probably getting calls on and everything, but I can't say enough about the initial deputy that showed up, recognized this guy, the team that pursued him, the team that stopped him, and the team that ended it out on 528. They all did an amazing job.
Sheriff, I want to ask you, because I know that the agency has a pursuit policy. What was it about this particular suspect that made you all say, we're not going to just let him go, because you probably had an idea of who he was.
Right.
Maybe you find him later. Why did you pursue in this particular instance?
Very, very easy. One word: violence. His violent actions from the very beginning of the domestic violence injunction, the fact that he was there where she was at, which I personally believe I know what he was there to do. You know what he was there to do. Thankfully, a citizen called us, and our deputy arrived and addressed the situation. But to your question, Melanie, our pursuit policy: if it's a violent offender, we are going to take them down. We are going to take them out of play.
You said 9 deputies involved in this particular deputy shooting. Are they all on paid administrative?
They are. Yeah, they're all on paid administrative leave. I sat with them last night. All of them are okay. They're all at peace with what happened. They did a great job. They did a great job protecting his intended victim. They did a great job protecting the citizens during the pursuit. They did a great job protecting each other. They had each other's six out there, and they handled their business. These are brave men and women that are going to get the job done.
And tell us a little bit about, and we got to see this as passing by, but you released some portion of that video after that car crash, and tell us why you made that decision. Go ahead and release it. I'm sure we would have asked you for it.
Yeah, so, when you see this as it unfolded, and you see the proximity of our agent to the vehicle and him shooting just over his head, it's profound. It puts into true perspective the dangers that these men and women face out here, the violent nature of this individual. And we had begged him to come out of the vehicle. He made a decision. He made a decision to pick a fight with the wrong people.
Tell us what's next for the investigation. Obviously, those deputies on leave, but what happens now?
Yeah, so our crime scene team, who just do an amazing job each and every day, they're processing the evidence. We've now cleared the scene out at 528, but they're processing all the evidence, all the rounds, different things. Interviews will be taking place from the witnesses that were there, and witness officers that were there, and then subsequently interviews of the officers that fired at the scene, fired their weapons at the scene. So those are the things that are happening right now, and it's having worked for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement as I did for so many years, and handling officer-involved shootings like we did, these things follow the protocols. They fall into place with crime scene and with the evidence and the interviews, and they all give a perfect picture for the state attorney to look at. The state attorney ultimately has the decision to review this and the decision on it. But this one's pretty clear cut. This one's an individual that fired at our deputies and made that mistake.
I'm going to ask you, because you brought up the time FDLE, why not just call them in to work the shooting?
Sure. So we do our own shooting investigations. A lot of agencies across the state of Florida do. We have the resources. We have a team of agents that work violent crime each and every day. We have crime scene. FDLE doesn't have crime scene. And I'm very proud to have been the chair of FDLE's transition team. When Commissioner Glass got appointed as the new commissioner, he elected me or selected me as the chair of his transition team. He did a complete transition of FDLE. And one of the things that was recommended, and one of the things they're looking at, was being able to put their crime scene back into play. So when we look at being able to do an investigation, crime scene's a primary component of this. And even when FDLE does one, they use our crime scene. If FDLE is doing an officer-involved shooting investigation for Palm Bay PD, they're using our crime scene. So we do our own. We've done that for a number of years. And I've always said, if there's ever a shooting that I think I need to bring FDLE in, I wouldn't hesitate. I have a great relationship with them, obviously, and Commissioner Glass would come in and do that in a heartbeat. Yeah, I think it's Summer Bay Apartments, is Sunset Bay Apartments, yeah. In Merritt Island, yeah. All right.
Thank you, Sheriff.
All right, guys. Todd will try and get you updates throughout the day. You guys know me. If you need to ask me any more questions, just let me know. I'll be glad to stop what I'm doing and come to it. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Sorry I was so late, guys. Bye.